go to Nick Pigeon. Perfect. So this is one of the recent ones we did, probably the last one we did. So
I'm gonna pull up it back here real quick and jot some notes. Excuse me as we go.
that's fine. So if you look at the onboarding process, right, they pay, right? They sign the contract, or in the process of doing so, we have the onboarding call, right? The first initial call where we get together, we collect all the assets, we ask all the questions we need in order to create this 90-day plan over here, right? They also have to fill out the onboarding form before we do that first onboarding call. So it's basically onboarding form. They pay, they sign the contract. It's like that sort of mumbo jumbo, like it can happen before and after, but they have to fill out the onboarding form first. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay. So it's basically questions that we ask them regarding the overall expectations, right? So we first name, etc. So you should have access to this. Do you not have access to this?
Would you mind can you either drop that in the chat and I'll take that, or
Yeah, I'll have to send you an invite like this, but you just received that. Perfect. And then what I would do for you, what I would highly recommend you do is once you're on this form, go on the three dots over here and then select get email notifications for new responses. It'll be unchecked for you. Click that. So now every time someone fills out this form, you get a notification.
Okay.
Right? So you just know every time there's a new client. I think it helps me stay on track. So I would recommend you do the same.
Gotcha.
If you ever need to send it to a client, which you probably will have to do, click send, the link, shorten URL, and you could just send it like that, or you could just send the email, right? Pretty straightforward.
Gotcha.
Individuals, then you would go over here.
Wait, so when you guys bring on a client, like say somebody signs them up, we have to reach out and give them all this stuff?
Correct. So I'm still in the dark as to how that onboarding process goes. I would rather ask Frank.
Okay, gotcha.
I just know that. Have you been in Monday yet?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So in Monday, this is like all the steps are here basically.
Okay, gotcha.
Intake form is submitted. That's to occur first. Then you send the welcome email. You could send that welcome email with the intake form, and then But just for now, know that they have to fill out this onboarding form before the onboarding call, because we're going to use number one, the insights collected on the call, as well as the insights collected here. So they're going to put all their website URLs. Let me try to get an example so it's clear. Right? So websites, their goals, specifically what they're looking for in the first 30 days, right? So number one, we can use that for material in the 90-day plan, but as well as, hey, are we on track with their expectations when they first got started, right?
Yeah.
Expectations for the first 12 months. What would be a big win? Describe ideal avatar. We have a separate form which we send after or during the 90-day plan while the 90-day plan is created, which dives deeper into the avatar. But it still helps to have a decent understanding for the 90-day plan, because we do have a section for the avatar in here, which we'll dive in a bit.
Okay.
Just know that this is not the end all be all for knowing their avatar. Here's pages, AOV. Obviously here, this is sort of like a shitty onboarding form. They didn't give us much, but what is your LTV? How much they can pay, if they have a lead magnet or not, right? How big is our email list? What is our Facebook ad performance? Here, ideally, they should just drop a link for all their video assets. If they have GA or the Facebook Pixel set up, knowing whether or not we should ask for that. Have they shared Facebook access with us? Have they shared GA access with us? How they would like to receive ad copy. So this is important as a PM, right? When we write new ad copy, do they want to get it sent to them, or do they just want us to upload it, right? This is all going to be in here. where they want to communicate. In this case, Skype. When starting ads, what sort of budget are you okay with first starting? It's going to give us all over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is like pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then basically after the onboarding call, so this is not necessarily related to 90-day plan creation, but just so you understand the funnel, the process, right? I think is going to be important. So this is a client we recently onboarded. Right before the onboarding call, right? So they fill out the form, onboarding call. I put in, or the PM puts in the call notes, which is basically the weekly call notes for the client, what time the most recent one was at, and then basically all the notes collected on the client call. So you can take notes there, and everyone has access to it if they want to go back to notes. And then I like to put in the action items after that. Cool.
Wait, so what this would be part of the 90-day plan, or you're just showing me what the
I'm just showing you the process up to the 90 plan, so you know like what we're starting with, where we're gathering all that information from, basically.
Okay. Can you? Yeah. Once you're ready to hop in, just tell me, like, let me know here so I can. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Go back to it.
Okay, perfect. I just think it's important to like know where like what you get. So basically,
Yeah.
call notes, onboarding form. We just had the onboarding form. Great, amazing. Then basically you open up right now we have a pretty shitty system. I would recommend that you try to build templates around this. That would be actually very cool. If you could build 90-day plan templates for number one, lead generation clients.
Hold on one sec. So 90-day plan templates. Or you said lead gen clients.
Lead gen clients who are using a webinar. Yep. Lead gen clients with webinar or e-commerce clients. So there's two different types of clients, e-commerce and lead gen for now.
And this is the what type of the template for the actual 90-day plan itself.
So right now what we're using is Nick Pigeon in this case is a high ticket lead generation client. So what I did is I went to David Bayer because he's a very similar avatar. I went all the way down to 90-day plan. I took this. In this case, it would be the template once you recreate it, right? Mm-hmm. I clicked file. I clicked make a copy. Mm-hmm. And then I basically swapped everything out from this.
Okay, gotcha.
But ideally, if we could have templates for this, that would be gold.
Say that one more time, sorry.
Ideally, if we had templates for this, it would be gold. It would be golden. Yep. Okay. Like, this isn't bad, but it's not as straightforward, right? Like a new PM wouldn't know where to look for the 90-day plan.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
Perfecto. So then once you have this duplicate form, let me just do it with you so that we are on the same page. Right, change client. Objective. Let me actually, this is only for this reason, just because we have a new template. So I'm going to send you the templates to base yourself on. But basically, this is the updated template. So basically, we have the title, Nick Pigeon. We have an overview section. This is pretty straightforward. Like, you use your copywriting skills for this. I don't think there's necessarily a way to standardize it. You basically this section over here, describe who Nick Pigeon is and what she's looking to do with Rudy's help. And over here, this stays pretty standard over here. Just change the name over here. Cool so far?
Yeah. So this is part of the actual 90-day plan and building it out.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So here it's like Nick Pigeon, leading business development for business women entrepreneurs, is turning to ROI machines to grow and scale her brand towards $10 million. Where did we get the $10 million from the onboarding form?
Okay, gotcha.
Right. So we just try to plug and play. Where is it? Well, plug and play wherever, like any cues that she gave us to make sure that she knows, okay, they understand where I'm going from, right? Because we have to start on the same page. Core initiatives for the first 90 days. On the call, That's why I like to go to my weekly call notes for her, right? This is the way I broke it down. Action items. And this is going to be on the call. Rudy's going to say, all right, so we should probably do this, this, and that. You're going to write down what we're going to do. So this is basically what Rudy gives as advice on the call. And of course, you can confirm with him afterwards. So basically, in this case, our main objectives are redesign the webinar opt-in page, redesign the webinar script and presentation, redesign the thank you page. So in this case, up to this point, is like we're redesigning the whole webinar, right? If you get the big picture.
Yeah.
We're also going to create 2 opt-in funnels, get logins, of course, and then we're going to create a split test. And then for month 2 to 3, we're going to recreate the second webinar and recreate the main authority site, right? So if you look back on the 90-day plan, rewrite, redesign, and restructure entire 35K in 35 days webinar funnel and follow-up email sequence based on Rudy's ROI method. So here I jazz it up, of course. But the core is that we're going to rewrite the entire funnel. And I remember she mentioned the email sequence as well because she didn't have it. So I put that in here as well.
Okay, gotcha. So essentially, you're just taking the stuff from the initial call and you are just like kind of regurgitating it to like make sure that we kind of put it in the initiatives.
Exactly. Should we formalize it so now we can always revert back to this 90-day plan?
Okay.
So we have something like, yeah, this like lays the foundation, the map, basically. We've only started doing this like 2 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why it's relatively new. Then basically all these action points are then moving forward are like basically all we discuss on the call. And of course we have a few which are standard for all clients, which we add. So for example, review and refine entire tracking setup for all funnels and existing campaigns. So that would stay there. Deploy advanced CRO and optimization techniques, blah, blah, blah. Provide strategic direction and marketing recommendations, of course. Establish monthly KPIs and CTAs. Provide video outlines and scripts. Establish and maintain clear communication and clarity around action plans. The reason why I added that is because on the onboarding form, again, she said that her big win would be maintaining clear communication. So I made sure to add it there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Makes sense so far, right? Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So overview section, core initiatives for the first 90 days. Then we have an audience analysis. Usually you will revert back to me to do this because the way I do it, and maybe you could be trained up to do this. I don't think it's that hard. It's just everyone who Facebook ads thinks it's hard. You basically go to facebook.com.
It's just finding like their audience.
Exactly. So you go to business.facebook.com/ads/audience insights.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone on Facebook. I'm going to put in the country's demographics, the age, the women, female, or male. Women, males, females, or all genders.
Mm-hmm.
In this case for Nick, what I probably did was women 25 to 65. But you get the point.
So she's going to give us all this information, right? Or are you determining this?
No, so from the onboarding form, she gave us that information.
Okay, gotcha.
So over here, she said, ideal avatar, women entrepreneurs, 25 to 55, digital business. I put in like probably Gary Vee or something like that. I put in all like the big authorities here. Mm-hmm. Basically, number one, what I did is I screenshotted this, right? And I pasted it here. Mm-hmm. I went to activity and then screenshotted this. So we can see a breakdown for mobile, cheddar, and desktop. Mm-hmm. And then I went to page likes and found all the main relevant pages. I mean, I put in like 15 is good. And basically just put in all the relevant page likes that you find over here. So in this case, I would put in like, yeah, in this case, it's not that good, but I would put it, because I didn't put in, like, let me put in Tony Robbins. Mm-hmm. So here I would put in Charlie Johnson, Gary Vee, right? Nick Orner could be one. Brandon Bouchard, Trent Shelton, right? Oprah Winfrey. Keys like that. And you could keep adding different interests over here to like pick more relevant ones. Mind Valley is perfect, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. and then we go from there. And then example competitors as well, right? That's basically just based on market research.
Hmm.
Does that make sense so far on how you would do this section?
Yeah. So at first, are you going to continue to do this, or I mean, do you want this to be part of the standard operation for like, all project managers going forward?
So let's do this. Let's create the SOP with what we have so far.
Hmm.
All right. So all the information we can gather on the call today is not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
suggest that the next 90-day plan that we get on, the next client is probably going to go towards me or you. If it goes towards you, perfect. That's amazing. I think that should actually be the next step. We'll
Yeah.
do the 90-day plan. We'll spend like an hour together doing the 90-day plan together. And hopefully that could add clarity.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
then you could do it, but then you would screen share and then we could go over it.
Gotcha. 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 Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. But just up to this point is basically everything gathered on the call. Brief description. Saba's going to edit it anyways, so just put in whatever you think is relevant. Demographics over here, literally what you put in the avatar. Example interests are just a few interests from the list you see over here. And again, use your judgment, right? Like if you probably know the entrepreneur, entrepreneur space as well, right? So you just
Yeah.
you find it relevant. Competitors as well. Next section, pretty straightforward as well. ROI machines execution plan. We broke it down in day 1 to 30, 31 to 60, and then 61 to 90. So 3-month period.
Okay. Cool.
Part looks the same, right?
Okay. So that all stays the same.
Exactly. And then basically, remember, like we discussed on the weekly call notes, like month 2 to 3 exactly. That's literally all we put in. So in this case, this one is standard. So review, refine, entire tracking setup for GA, GTM, and UTMs. That's standard. We do that for all the clients. Then develop and execute the ROI method comprehensive paid traffic strategy for the 35K and 35 days webinar funnel. Right. So we're number one doing a paid traffic plan because she's never done it before.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're going to restructure and rewrite the entire funnel with the email sequence. So sort of taking what we have over here and maybe diving a little deeper, but really splitting it up from a month to month basis. So we know all the deliverables that she can expect every single month.
Gotcha.
Yep. And then over here, continue and then here it gets a little, you just need a bigger level perspective in that if we created the funnel over here, right? We created the funnel. Then in month 2, it would be continue scaling and optimizing that funnel based on the KPIs for a $1.5 million runway within the first 12 months, because that's what she said in the onboarding form.
Gotcha. Okay.
Got it? So we just this is optional. You could just say continue scaling. I just added it here because that's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then month 2, same projects like we discussed on the call. Yeah, month 2 we're gonna start scaling the online course funnel for $2,000, etc. And any other projects that we discussed. If not, it's just gonna be continue scaling to the desired KPIs which you put in the onboarding doc. And the same thing over here, it would be continue scaling, etc.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it might take a little practice, but it's pretty straightforward. It shouldn't be something that's too complex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And then the last part, we do not have this for e-commerce clients. This is purely for the lead generation clients. So we have a funnel overview. So basically, I put it like this, and then design. Oh, never mind. And then design. This is what the end part looks like. They put in the funnel overviews of what it should look like.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? So the way I did it, on the call, I went through the entire funnels. I know myself what the funnel looks like. You know what a webinar funnel looks like as well.
Yeah.
So Facebook ad to webinar registration page, confirmation page, to email follow-up, to watch room, to application page, book call, and then the sale, right?
Damn, that's a big ass sale for her coaching program.
Yeah. We decided to go with that just because she said she crushed it on the calls. So
Good for her.
yeah, that's gonna be exciting. So yeah, dude, that's basically it. You would break it down like that. design would know how to do it. So up to this point is how to create the draft of the 90-day plan,
Yeah.
right? Do you know within how many days this plan needs to be sent to the client?
No.
Okay, so within 3 days, this plan needs to be in the hands of the client. So
Okay.
within 3 days of the first onboarding call, considering that all assets were given to you, so considering that the onboarding form was filled out. If the onboarding file is not filled out, then you would follow up with the client saying, hey, do you mind filling out the onboarding form so you can send over the 90-day plan?
Okay, that's 3 non-business days, correct? Just 3 days in
Yeah,
general.
3 non-business days. I mean, we work 7 days a week, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Within 3 days, this plan has to be sent to the client. After onboarding call, you said?
Yep, after the first onboarding call.
Okay. Sounds good.
Cool. Perfect. Amazing. So I would usually work on this like maybe on day like the day after or maybe like 2 days after. Usually we just design it the night before and just send it after in the morning. So you should know how to manage this. This doesn't take me more than like an hour, like 45 minutes usually. So it's like not that big of
Mm-hmm.
a job. Once it's ready, what you do is basically just post it over here, Nick Pigeon 90-day plan in the Slack channel, which you've created as part of the onboarding process. I tagged in Saba and Rudy because they're the people who review it. They're going to leave their notes. Then once Rudy says it's approved, when Saba says it's approved, you send it to Boris Idrovsky or whoever is the head of design. So in this case, is going to be Boris. I said over here, Nick Pigeon, 90-day plan draft for design in the morning. When it needs to be done. I thought it needs to be ready for tonight. He sent it to Rudy and I. No, he sent it in the new exec. He sent it in the new exec. Then what I did is I prepared the. I mean, you don't like it doesn't have to be that complex, but just so you know the way like how I deliver it is
Mm-hmm.
basically just I sent it this Monday actually. Happy Money Monday. Rudy Saba and I put together the 90-day plan roadmap. Then I put in a link here. It wasn't ready at that time, so I didn't put it. When are we able to schedule the kickoff meeting to go over the plan together this week? Here are a few last things to go over. Promise. And then basically I sent her the copy form, so the avatar form. Again, don't worry about this whole process. Just know that we're sending them.
Mm-hmm.
Then just following up on like admin access because they hadn't sent the Facebook Biz Manager or the GA access. And then I also send this page over here, which is a quick breakdown on expectations, working with us as part of the VIP program, right? So your team, basically we just send this to them to manage expectations and what to expect each other.
Okay, gotcha.
And so basically what I did is I sent it to over here, like this.
Gotcha. Okay. And this is in her
In her Slack, exactly. So as far as creating the 90-day plan concerns, does that make sense? Do you have any questions? Could something be more clear? Do you feel you'd be able to create one like today? What do you feel is missing?
I definitely need a couple things. I'm gonna have to kind of go through and look at it, and I think templates would be easiest just for future. I like building off templates, and
Yeah. So for the templates right away, what I could tell you to do is take Nick Pigeon's template
Mm-hmm.
and take Iconic's template. They're both in Monday. They're
Okay.
both in Monday. If you go to onboarding 30, 60, 90, it's going to be in there.
And is Iconic is the product, right?
Iconic is it's the brand, Iconic Protein.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Iconic.
So
William Buck.
that's that. I mean, just because it's ESIT, like one is coaching, and one is webinar coaching, and one is it's like e-commerce, right?
Exactly. So let me show you what the e-commerce one looks like. So over here we have the iconic summary. Usually we will do a customer flow analysis over here. Don't worry too much about this. I'll probably do it, or Saba would,
Mm-hmm.
from a marketing perspective. But just know that we'll have a customer flow analysis, what this tells us, a Facebook ad audit, if we have access at that time and point. And then the rest, we would have a marketing plan with initial products that we'll focus on. And we'll have a breakdown over here on Facebook ad campaigns for month one and the initial tasks. Customer pat, like we'll split it from funnel and Facebook ads, just because we have the difference. The main difference is just that e-commerce, we have multiple products. Webinar, high ticket coaching, we mainly usually have one product, right? So that's
So obviously these plans are going to be all different from client to client.
for sure. But the main structure would stay the same, right? So for if you were to transform this one into a David Bayer, you'd really change this, the section over here. The core initiatives, most of them would be different besides maybe these ones over here. Then the audience analysis would be the same. But in the e-commerce one, we don't really have an audience analysis. We more have like a customer flow analysis. We have like different analyses. That makes sense.
Can you say the last bit one more time?
We have, you see, we don't have this section over here.
Yeah, you said customer flow analysis.
We have like more of like, we go and wait, let me no, this is the wrong one. Sorry. We have like so basically what we did over here is we went to, where was it? Saba screenshotted these from a backend analysis, right? Some stats to include in reference to the 90-day plan, right? Which I analyzed, and I crunched those numbers up to put in the customer flow analysis, basically. So I would just, to be honest, for now, I would not worry about it too much. I would not worry too much about it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I couldn't quite find the 90-day plan for Nika or Nick inside Monday. Is there any way that you can send me the one from Iconic and the one from her so I can just start looking at those and making templates?
So this is Nick, and then this one is Iconic.
Okay. Can you is there any way you can drop those in the Slack, please? Oh, did you just do that?
Yeah, I just sent them to you in our DM.
Oh, perfect. Cool. And then also the VIP, you shared the onboarding form with me, correct?
Yep. So now if all you have to do is type in a search bar Google Forms, and it'll show up in your forms.
Okay, it should be good. All right, gotcha. All right, cool. I don't have any questions as of right now, but I will probably as I go through.
Okay, sweet. I mean, this is like, yeah, this is like, just one piece of the entire onboarding form, right? So obviously what I think we should go over now, just so it makes complete sense, is the entire onboarding process.
Okay.
Unless you've done that already.
I have not. No. Let me just.
So this would be more like the bird's eye view perspective, I think would help.
Okay. Damn it. Sorry, I'm just.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, so we just went over the 90-day plan, SOP, and now having two Google Drives really a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah. I mean, don't you would just use your Kev at
Yeah, I have another one that I've been I just use for my own. Like I was using it for my own business. One sec here. I'm just moving some things around just so I don't get lost in here.
Just give me a second.
Yeah.
What's up, dude? You still there? Did I lose you?
I'm still here, ready to go whenever you are.
Amazing. Perfect. So from a bigger level perspective, now the 90 plan, don't worry too much about it. We have like as much information as we could get today. The rest would just be practicing and like actually doing a 90-day plan together
Yeah.
with your feet wet. But from a bigger level of perspective, let's say Rudy says, okay, great. We just signed on the client. We just had the sales call. Now they just paid. Usually Rudy would send that over along with the Google form, which you just had access to, right?
Yeah.
He would send that over. He would then ping you, hey, we have the onboarding call tomorrow, or like he would tell you the date of that onboarding call.
Mm-hmm.
Cool?
Yeah. Yep.
So right before the call, what you would do is step number one, you would go to Monday, you would scroll all the way down to departments and then new client template. All right. You would then right click that new client template and then duplicate board. And then duplicate structures and items.
Okay.
So let's do one together and we'll delete it.
And this is for creating a new client, correct?
Exactly. Once a new client just paid, Rudy sent over the onboarding form. He scheduled the onboarding call, and he just sent over the link for them to pay the 10K front end, the 10K monthly, the first week. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you would come here over here, new client template, duplicate it, name it clients, right? The name, so we can all remember. Don't worry too much about the assets for now. Once, if you already have the VIP onboarding form submitted, what you would do over here is label this as assets. Oh, well, the assets are not there. So you would put over here assets like this in the orange.
Mm-hmm.
Label it assets. No need to tag anyone, and you would just pop in the PDF. So
Okay. Gotcha.
how you download the PDF is pretty straightforward. Just like responses, you would go to whoop, individual, select the VIP, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then go over here, download responses, or no, sorry, wrong me. Print responses.
Yeah, yeah. And then okay, I gotcha. I know how to do
Perfect.
that. I think maybe we could get like a Zap hooked up to this potentially.
For
Just
what functionality?
uh, some of these just processes and stuff. But I'll have to play around with it.
Okay, that would actually be cool. So basically, what you would do is you would take that downloaded PDF, and you would go to Monday. Oh, where were we? And you would just drop it in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that anyone on Monday could have access to it. Then what you would do is the client form submitted. What I would do as a PM is just tag yourself to every single one of these tasks. Why? Because then you could go to my week and you can literally see all the tasks that you are working on. You probably know the my week view.
This is actually the first time I'm seeing it in use.
Okay, so this is super cool. So basically, any task that you're tagged into will be shown up here. So you know like what's working on today, what's in the pipeline for tomorrow, etc.
Okay.
So basically, right now, if you look for Nick, I've already tagged myself in all the tasks related to Nick. So let me try to find them. Anyways, they're supposed to be there. But basically now I would know like if I tag myself in oh, where'd it go? Well, that's smart. There we go. So that if I tag myself in these tasks, it would all show up in my week view, so I wouldn't miss anything, right? Because I'd have to complete them for them to disappear.
Mm.
So that just helps me. And I do this as well for any, I know Frank doesn't do this, but I invite him to too, is tag yourself into any task which you delegate. So let's say I delegate like a video transcription. I tag David, who's a video editor, right?
Mm-hmm.
I tag myself so I also see in my week view. So that if it's not done, I don't have to go through every single board and make sure that everything's done. I just see it in my week's view.
Okay, gotcha.
So I just cool tip I think is valuable.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's solid.
But I would tag yourself into the client form, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If they're done, just mark done, right? If they're not done, just mark assigned, incomplete, assigned, incomplete. Make sure you assign a due date so it actually shows up in your my week view. So step number one, okay. So you just got a new client. Up to now, what would you do?
Open up Monday, go to departments, and then new client template.
Yeah.
And then that's where I stopped. So that was what I got for step one. So step two, I assume add any of the new the assets, correct?
Correct. So you would duplicate that new client template, right?
Yep.
And then you would add in the 90-day form. The VIP onboarding form if it's there. If not, just don't worry about it for now.
Mm-hmm.
I would tag yourself into every one of these onboarding tasks over here.
Hold on one sec. Tag yourself. Okay.
Assign a due date for it. Wait, just give me a second.
Sure.
assign a due date to it. The due date, these should all be done. All of these should be done within the first 7 days of onboarding.
So stage 1 should be completed within 7 days.
Yeah. It says day 1 to 3. Realistically, it'll probably be try to complete it within 3 days. Yes, absolutely. But realistic from client to client, it's usually going to be 7 days for it all to be completed.
Okay.
Yeah. But most of these will be able to be done in the first 7 days, right? So then you would just go for as much as possible as you could have, right? So client intake form submitted. They do it. If not, no, keep an eye on it. Make sure that you follow up if not. Client welcome email sent. That you would do right after the onboarding call. So now that you've onboarded the client on Monday and you've tagged yourself onto all of these, whether they're done or not, don't worry too much about it. You've just done this. You can always circle back after the 90-day plan is sent. Then you would go to Nikabot. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Nikabot, you would go to this URL. Send this to you.
Got that.
Perfect. You would go to projects overview. No, sorry, you would go to all projects. Yeah, you would go to all projects, add a project, and then you would put in the client name, right? So clients, no need for reference ID.
Mm-hmm.
Type, don't worry about the type, and then put in the clients again, add new clients, and then create.
Gotcha.
Because you're fully onboarded with Nikabot, right? You know what it's about.
I'm starting to put together the big picture here.
Okay, perfect, amazing. So from notification from Moody, Monday board, make sure that's all set up. Make sure Nikabot is added. What would step number 3 be, in your opinion?
I have tagged yourself in every one of the onboarding tasks.
We've done up to there.
Okay, so I'm breaking it into smaller steps, I guess. I have step 1, departments duplicate new client templates. Step 2, add in the VIP onboarding form. Step 3, tag yourself in every one of the onboarding tasks. Step 4, assign a due date. Stage 1 of the onboarding should be complete within 7 days. Step 5, going to create a new client in Nikabot.
Yeah, can you share your screen maybe?
Yep.
Just so I can have a visual. Yeah, I mean, what I would do is just step 1, set up Monday, and then you have these micro steps inside of set up Monday. So I guess that would be easier for you to follow. You know?
Gotcha. So all of these are within setting up Monday.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I think that would make it easier for you.
Okay.
Well, whatever rocks your boat, of course, but
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go through it and take a look again.
yep. Perfecto.
Should I stop sharing or do you want to share again?
Yeah, I'll share again for the next step.
Okay.
So once you have Monday set up for the client and you have Nikabot set up for the client, what you would do over here is you would go create a new channel. You would first look, okay, we have up to 26. So the new channel I create would be 27 dash client name.
Okay.
You would then invite Rudy, Saba, Frank, Kevin, Oliver, which is me, and yourself would already be included, and Scott as well. So you got all those names?
Yeah, who's Scott?
He's the data analytics guy who sets up all the Google Analytics, the backend tracking, basically.
Okay, just taking a note. Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Then you would make private. Then you would click create. I'm not going to create it, but
Yeah.
so far so good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Now up to this point, you're all set before the call. Right before the call, what you would do, usually Rudy sets up the call and he sends up the onboarding form, so you don't have to worry about it. If not, he'll tell you to set it to send them, but usually he'll take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then let's take a recent one. I created the channel. Then right before the call, I post in the call notes. So call notes, boom. What I basically did here is you can either just create a new doc and post it in there, make sure that the permissions are open, or you could just go in and duplicate like a previous one, right? Previous onboarding doc.
And where do you get the call notes? Are these from? This is for the onboarding call. These are the. Yeah. Where do you get the call notes, or do you just keep a blank document?
A blank doc. So this is all blank before the call, and I fill it out during the call.
Okay, gotcha.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, and basically what I do, Rudy makes a mess of these places. I take all my notes. I mean, I love Rudy, but you know
I know.
how he can be. I take notes on my notepad, and then I crunch it all up in a easy to follow way in here. So I have the strategy, the main strategy with the links, so I can easily access them. Any notes about each step,
Mm-hmm.
and then action items. Well, let me just tell Amanda. Um, yeah, basically here, there's no right way to take the notes, whatever makes more sense to you. I try to break it down into action steps so that creating a 90-day plan is easy.
Mm-hmm.
But yep, that's basically it. And then afterwards, what I like to do is, where is it? Right after the plan, Rudy's also going to put us in the VIP client onboarding form so we can review it before the call. If
Mm-hmm.
not, I would recommend you do that as well. So that's an additional action step. And then right after, I'm going to list all the onboarding client action items, right? So I'm going to put in what Nick said she would do, or what we said, hey, Nick, could you do this, please? And then I put in everything that we would do, right? Just from what Rudy said, just to make sure that we're on the same page.
Okay.
Usually Rudy would say, hey, you missed this point. No, I don't want this there. I wanted this instead, blah, blah, blah. He would make sure that we're on the same page. Just so you can consolidate that once again in the call notes and Monday, etc.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Right after that, what I would do is, well, right after the call or towards the end of the call, we would say, hey, by the way, can you just invite us to Slack real quick? At which point she did. So let me show you the first. So over here, she said, well, right after the call, she had invited me. I said, hey, team, great call today and excited to get this started together. We'll send out specific shortly. Any questions, let me know. She said, Fabs, thanks so much. And then the call was at like 2 p.m. or 6:50 p.m. the same day.
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey, team, here are the onboarding call action items we discussed on the call. We have our own items, which we discuss internally, which will all be reflected in the 90-day plan we'll send over on Monday. So I tell her when we're going to be sent it and when it's going to be sent. Any questions, let me know. And then I send out any assets that we need to collect to create the 90 plan or to action any like first week items. So she said, oh yeah, I need the webinar design, right? So we said, oh, awesome. Can you send over the scripts and the slides, etc., so we can redesign it for you, right? So I just remind her everything. I remind her everything that she needs to send over in order for us to complete the task, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Can you say that one more time? Sorry.
You're good. So I send her these are not like week long or 2 week long updates. These are just basically little tasks that she said she would send over to remind her that she needs to send them over, right? So she said, we said, hey, we're going to redesign the webinar. Can you please send us the webinar scripts, right? She said, yes, we can take her own notes, but this is basically like summarizing what we're still waiting on her for us to complete any small task from our end.
Okay, gotcha.
Gotcha. So obviously, yeah, send that over. Logins are really important. So make sure you get the logins, any logins that she discussed on the call, right? So she's going to say, yeah, I have Kajabi, I have Teachable, I have ClickFunnels. Perfect. I remind her, can you send those logins over, please? Right?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to send over the logins. Make sure you test them. You test
Okay.
those to make sure they're good. Because in this case over here, I double checked and they were not good, right? They were not good logins. And that could save our ass in the future, because if we have to do like an overnight project and it has to be done the next day, what if the logins we only realize aren't good that night of, right? We're screwed. So
Yeah.
probably just prepare for it. Ta-ta-ta. She's going to send over any specifics. And then on Monday, so right after the onboarding call, perfect. We have the onboarding form. We had just had the onboarding call. Guess what? We had the 90-day plan we create with the SOP we just did before, right?
Mm-hmm.
You send it to Rudy to design. They approved it. Boom. And then you send it over within 3 days of, hey, here's the onboarding plan, right? When can we kick off our onboarding meeting? Let me actually send this over to you. If I could give you an idea of what it should look like. Maybe you could put this in. So step number 1 is important. Step number 2, if they haven't done so already. Step number 3 is important. And then step number 4 was additional because their payment was still pending.
Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha.
Cool, cool.
Cool, cool.
Sorry, I'm so tired. I say random shit now.
No, I like it. It's sorry, I'm just thinking through everything.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. Don't worry. It took me like, I mean, I've been here for like 6 months, so it took me some time.
Mm-hmm. Um, okay, gotcha.
Perfect. So take me up to the process up until now, from the first point to up to now.
So get set up Monday, duplicate new client template, add VIP onboarding form, tag yourself in every one of the onboarding tasks, assign a due date, go to create a new client in NikaBot, and then feel free to interrupt me if I'm off here. But I got create a new channel, pick a number that hasn't been taken yet with the number and the client name, and then add the whole team: Ruby, Saba, Frank, Kevin, you, me, and Scott. Make it private. Create the channel. Post the call notes for everyone to see. And then I've got talk about action items that the client says and what we say. Well, I guess this is after the call. Have the call with the client. Post the calls for everyone to see, I assume. And then make action items where they say what they want to get done, like the logins and all their stuff, and then what we say we're going to get done. And then test once they send over logins, test their logins, and then I guess have them invite us to their Slack first, and then test their logins once they give it to us.
So just make sure that right after the call, we're invited to their Slack,
Okay.
or whichever form of communication they want it to be in.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Perfect. What I like to do, just so it's super clean, I confirm these with Rudy in our private, right? The same day of, like you see over here, 6:41 p.m. at 11:43 p.m. I just tested all out in Monday, and I post in the Monday links, and I tag Saba with any specifics, and I tell Kevin I added the credentials in LastPass. Don't worry about LastPass just yet. It's gonna be an additional step. I know how to do it, so I did. I let Kevin know that they're all in LastPass. But over here, I just literally tasked out anything that was in the pipeline. So if you see over here, rewrite and redesign plus code, the 35K in 35 days webinar opt-in page, Facebook ads round 1. That's going to be tasked out as standard. So every client will be tasked this out. Facebook ad video outlines, right? Because we always send video outlines for clients to do like Facebook ads. Review webinar script. That was one of the action items, if you remember. Rewrite email follow-up sequence. Remember, it was an action item. Rewrite and restructure book call thank you page. Remember, it was an action item. And then beginning of the following week, 2-3 free training opt-in. So if you go back to Monday, YC, you see I've tagged myself to practically all of them, except the ones that were already done faster than I could tag myself. I also, don't worry about this too much, but you see over here, I tasked out Facebook ad copy round 1. I put in here the landing page. I tag myself in Saba, who's the head of copy. In copy, these are all the tasks that I tasked out and put the links for inside the group channel. So review webinar scripts and redesign slides, review structure for call, rewrite webinar opt-in page, blah, 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 right, so far? And I tag myself into every one of them. I set the due date to the 4th for all of them, and then I pinged Saba, hey, I pinged them all for next week. Feel free to arrange them as you wish. They're all of equal importance.
Gotcha.
And then Saba would mark working on it when she's starting to work on them.
Okay.
Yep, and nothing here yet.
Okay, makes sense.
Makes sense? So yeah, I just try to task it out ASAP so we can clear any confusions and Saba can prepare her calendar.
Okay. Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, and then from there, you just basically go in daily communications. Every 2 or so days, whatever you think is fit, you would just follow up on all the pending tasks over here, right? Make sure this is done within the first 7 days.
Okay. Gotcha. I think I have a pretty good understanding. I'm gonna have to go back and watch a video for sure.
Okay. I would also, if you could do this, is I added just for this client, because we're starting to do this, is I added a specific, whatchamacallit, board just for tasks that we're waiting on the client for. And I tag myself as well in them so we make sure that we have, if we're waiting on anything from the client, I can literally see them in my board over here,
Okay.
right? So I could see, well, weird, now I can't see it. What the fuck? What? Well, that's weird, but were we the second yesterday? Yeah, we were the second.
Yeah.
So why is it not showing up here? Okay. Maybe too many tasks. Huh. Okay. I'll take that. But yeah, it makes sense so far, right?
Yeah, so far. So, for Oliver, I know we just covered a lot there. If
Yeah.
there is, because I know we have a couple more scheduled throughout the next couple days.
Yep.
Would it be? I know how much stuff you got going on. Would it be easier for you to make a Loom video of just like you doing it and kind of like talking through it as you do it, or would it be easier to go through it with me like this?
No, I could walk you through it. I could definitely walk you through it. I guess, yeah, sorry for not doing the video today. I was just like,
Yeah, no, I mean it's all good. I just whatever's easier for you. I just want to make it more efficient for you. So
no, for sure. For sure. And then on the call, you would have watched the video before the call so you could ask me any questions, basically.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, that would make sense.
yeah. That's what we did yesterday and today, and it's I've been able to knock them out. Like I've been able to knock one out a day so far. I mean, we've only been doing it for 2 days, but that's what I've gotten through so far.
Okay.
So, does that work, or what would you rather do?
No, that works. Oh, there's a slight delay. I could definitely shoot the video before. I think that would work better, and then we could go over it together. That's good.
So, do you still want to shoot for 12 tomorrow then?
Yep. You can shoot for 12 tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Awesome, man. Well, if you need anything, do you have anything else for me, or is that all good? And if you got to go, let me know.
No, sorry, I just got distracted.
No, it's all good.
No, I think we should be good. Just, yeah, try to piece together the SOP.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can send it over to me and I can finalize it.
Okay, sounds good, man.
All right.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Albert.
You too. Ciao.